Let's start with Tony Bachman. Tony Bachman, Team Keller Williams.
Good morning, Bill. TJM. Thank God it's Monday.
Yes, indeed. And you were telling me busy. And apparently a lot of folks that I ran into this weekend, Real Estate Tide, said they're busy too.
Yes.
What's up?
Yeah. Well, it's just that penned up, activity where, of course, coronavirus slowed things down just a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. And then you also couple that with interest rates that, in your wildest imagination, could you ever, in your whole time of being in real estate and business, imagine having 30-year interest rates below 3% for mortgages? That's unheard of, So that's what's going on. The interest rates, and then and we've been fortunate. In our area, everybody is fairly well employed. I know that it's some people have been affected, especially in the service industries, that sort of thing, with restaurants and bars, those sorts of things. So I may sympathize exactly with, their position. But, when it comes to the construction industry and what's going on, for business, everybody's full steam ahead right now. So there's people that are very gainfully employed, have funds to be able to go out and either A, they're buying their first home, or B, they're moving up to a home that better fits them.
Larry Lutke, the president of the association, would want us to mention it's pretty important to use a professional. And we were kind of talking back and forth about the fact that people think they can do it on their own, but this isn't the ordinary times.
Yeah.
We used to have Uncle Charlie that could help us, or Dad Bill, or whoever it is.
Yeah.
But right now, with multi-bid and sometimes underpriced properties, you don't want to waste time.
No, there's just a whole lot of activity going on right now. And so when we're working with buyers, for example, what we're doing is we're making sure, 110% that they're qualified with a lender, as opposed to, there's been in the past where people had said, if I find the right house, I'll go and get qualified. That's not part of the conversation anymore, because in many cases we have hours, maybe days, but in most cases it's hours if it's a particular type of home. And we're all for having Dad or Uncle Bill, like you said, give their input, because, I think it's important that they are able to help, guide a little bit. But it's a different market. Where it's fast moving, and what you'll find is you'll be working with a buyer that may lose 2 or 3 homes where they put offers in, and then all of a sudden they get it where it's like, okay, here we go. This is what we need to do. Make sure we have all our ducks in a row and go out there and make offers. And in most cases, we're successful over time, but it just takes a little due diligence and searching. And the point with working with a professional is, we have some insights, because we also see like coming soons, what's happening. Plus, if we know exactly what they're looking for, we can sit down, at the beginning of the day or at the end of the day and just start looking through, and maybe we'll say, oh, here's a couple that might fit their needs, and send them that, information right away.
The other thing that you can send is, if you realize in looking for what they want, you find something that's underpriced and you think this is going to be going quickly, maybe a handful of offers. Yeah. You can say, what do you want to do?
Yeah. Yeah. So I had a situation like that with one of our clients where we'd lost a couple, and then something that came up, a couple of offers that we'd made, and then there was a home that came up that was fit them, had great outdoor space, 3-stall garage. And when we seen it, I was like, this home is underpriced. But they did it for a reason, because they wanted to generate a bunch of offers, and they wanted to, basically have their home under contract, right away. And the reason for that is a lot of those people have homes that they've already made an offer on a different home, and they want to underprice it so that way they get their home under contract so they can move to their next home.
And if they've lost a couple and they realize that maybe we have to put a couple of more chips on the table, that rather than look around at a number of other houses, this might be the one.
Well, and even though you're talking about underpricing a home, we're not talking about substantial. If we can recognize if a home is priced, $5,000 or $10,000 under what market value is, the irony is that the end result, they end up getting what their home is worth anyway, because the multiple offers push the bid up to the price point where they were hoping to get anyway. So it's a strategy. And it works in some cases, but we're seeing a lot of multiple offers. Up to $500,000, but more commonly $250,000 or less.
He's Tony Bachman, Team Keller Williams. Price range you've been working in, the most popular right now, and for those that are sitting out there saying, should I sell my house? I think that answer would be?
The question we ask people when they say, we're thinking about selling our home is like, okay, so what is it that you're thinking you want to move to? I mean, where are we moving up? Are we moving down? Are we making a lateral move? Are we wanting to move to a newer type of home? Is it about location? And so then we make sure that we have a conversation with that potential seller so that way we've got a real clear picture of where we're going. Because the mistake would be made is if we say, okay, let's get your home on the market and then we'll go out and look for homes. Well, when your home already goes on market and it sells right away, now you're having to make decisions, where you're basically just saying, well, we're going to just go buy a home and we'll just, that way we, it's not basically based on really doing a lot of homework and research. And then you find out later that they're not happy with their home because they didn't do all the criteria things that they were looking for. So we really spend a lot of time with potential sellers, and we have a number of sellers that we're just talking to right now. And I would even encourage, anybody who's been thinking about it, I just tell people, let us come over. We'll take a look at it. We'll give you some basis of what the market value is right now. The other part about that that's good is if we can say, hey, if you spend, $1,000 doing X, whether it be painting or a couple $1,000s with carpet, whatever it might be, it'll be worth double or triple that on the marketplace. Then it'll be worth them getting that done.
Makes sense to me. One of the things that you think that people need to be ready to do in this multi-offer field is to be ready. Have the bank with you. Have whoever you're dealing with you.
Absolutely.
If not, you may wish that you had.
Well, what happens is you'll lose out on that ideal home that you.
What do you really mean?
It's perfect.
They'll lose out.
They'll lose on and getting their offer accepted by the other party, because if we have multiple offers and you don't have your letter of approval with your offer, it's nothing that anybody's really going to kind of take a look at. They're going to look at anybody who's qualified, anybody who has a letter, and because I said if they've got multiple offers in front of them, you need to have your letter of approval along with that. But again, it's a dialogue, it's a conversation, and I don't mean to make the market sound scary, because it's not. I mean, this is just it's a business. It's competitive. It's a business, but I think if you're being well advised and someone who's taking care of you, it'll make sense, and we'll be able to get you where you want to go.
All right. For those out there that are saying, I wonder what the features are. I wonder what is selling homes the best.
Sure.
What would you tell me?
I think a lot of times we see where people are looking for homes that are updated, especially if they're like existing single-family homes. They're looking for homes that have been updated, whether that be in like the kitchens, the bathrooms, furnaces, ACs, shingles, siding, all those big things that can be big dollar items, for them. So that's a big plus. Yards with fences, because many people have pets, so they want to be able to have a fenced-in yard for their dogs or their children. But some of the driving factors, real estate, the adage is location, location, location. What that location is pertaining to is how close is it to school, how close is it to amenities, shops, stores, restaurants, that sort of thing, and then how close is it to work. And that is a driving factor with a lot of when people are looking.
Tony Rashford would want me to ask this question, and he didn't send me a note or say, come have lunch. But you guys get some interesting training that is not only here but in other parts of the country. You bring a lot of people together, and you find out what works, what doesn't work, and how you can best serve your client. Yeah,
that's 100% correct. I mean, in reference to the business that we're in here just in the last few months, we've had to undergo a bunch of different types of training. We've brought the technology. We're incorporating more technology into what we do, not only for ourselves but for our clients. And of course, with COVID-19, it's just changed the whole landscape of real estate a little bit. But to your point about the training is, and there's many different places to get training. But since we're at Keller Williams,
Sure.
Williams has. They have a whole lot of different programs, different classes, and there's a lot of online training. There's a lot of in-person training. But I always kind of joke with some of the newer agents when they come on. I said, you could actually get a PhD in real estate because there's so much information and content out there that you could actually, just study. And it's amazing how all these little pieces start to come together, and you'll be a better agent for your client.
He's Tony Bachman team, Keller Williams. Have you been surprised with all we've gone through with COVID, the number of people that are actually looking for a house?
I think what I was surprised is when it didn't slow down that much when everything else was kind of shut down. I mean, we still had a lot of people that were moving, and I think there was two factors. One was people who were on the bubble, they were thinking about selling, and they were a little bit of fear factor where they thought, hey, I just want to sell my house because I don't want the market to shut down and now I can't sell my home. There was a little bit of that. But also we're back to the interest rates have just been driving this, and most people have been gainfully employed, so it's allowed them to continue. We have had a few transactions over the last few months that we were under contract, but the buyers couldn't perform because either A, they weren't getting enough hours with work, or they were basically furloughed for a little while, which meant then we had to go back on the market with the home and resell it.
As busy as you are, the industry is, what do you tell your team about the fact that you may feel like it's a little crazy out there, you may feel a little tired, but for each client, you treat them as the most important person they'll deal with today?
Yeah, I think it's important. You can get yourself stretched out pretty quick in reference to, so I think it's important to make sure that you're taking care of each client to the best of your ability, and sometimes maybe not taking every phone call of someone saying, hey, I want to go look at this, look at that. It's like maybe it's taking care of the transaction that you're already in, making sure that paperwork is finalized, making sure the negotiations are done. But I think right now we're very it's busy in the respect that there's not a lot of time off. I mean, if you're going to be a very proactive agent, this is the time where you might be working 6 or 7 days a week. I'm not saying that that's a good thing. I'm just saying that I'm to your point of taking care of your clients. It might be what needs to be done. Just take care of your clients.
All right. So how do they reach you?
We have a Facebook page, 20 Bachman Group. Yeah. That's where.
Is that what you're shooting today?
Yeah. We'll put some of this. We'll put your smiling face out there on social media with today's little interview, and then my cell number is 605-201-5998, and our website is TonyBachmanGroup.com.
All right. We appreciate you. We'll talk in a couple of weeks.
All right. Thank you, Bill.